Hi everyone, this is Melissa from Melissa Made, and we're making tags this week at Creative Critters Imaginations. And I wanted to share with you how I made this cute little tag using Lori's Garden and Stretch Your Imagination. And I learned this accordion technique here that you can see on the inside from Bobby at the Cricut Couple, and I'll put the blog address down here below so you can hit up their blog too. And also Sheila at She's a Sassy Lady, and I'll put her address below as well, is holding a little challenge where you're challenged to bake these, and so I thought I would join in the fun. And if you feel like doing it, you should join in the fun too and link up your project to her blog. But I wanted to kind of show you how I made the tag using the Cricut Craft Room. I'm so excited because it seems to be working now, and I updated my Imagine, and I think that's the problem I was having. I hadn't updated my Imagine and I didn't realize there were updates, and there's a firmware update, and so I did that and now it's working perfectly and I'm excited. So I'm going to show you how to create this little tag using Cricut Craft Room. And the first thing I want to show you is, I don't know if you can see the paper here, but there's a slight sheen to the paper. This is the basil cardstock that has this shimmer to it, and that's what I'm going to use. So I have you can kind of see here, I have a piece on my mat, and I'm telling you, it looks gorgeous when the Imagine prints on it. So if you can pick some of this up at your local craft store, you should do so, because really it looks gorgeous when it prints on the Imagine. So I am going to open up my computer and we'll get started on Cricut Craft Room, and I can show you how I made this cute little tag. Okay everyone, I have Cricut Craft Room open here, and this is the file that I use to make my two tags. And I didn't show you this, but if you notice, this tag on the front and the back is the design. So I wanted to have two tags, so that's why I have two here. I have two birdhouses, silhouettes, and then a couple birds down here. And here you can see that the birdhouse is in the center of the tag, and you can see a dark black line, so that means it's going to actually cut that out on Cricut Craft Room. But I'm going to start a new file so that we can do this together. And so I'm going to hit new, and I'm just going to call this bird tag, something simple, and hit start, and then you should get a new window open up here. Now the bird is from Lori's Garden, and the birdhouse is from Stretch Your Imagination, but the tag is also from Lori's Garden, so I'm going to start there. So I'm going to this filter right here, and I'm going to choose, oh, sorry about that, I have a little one who wants her birthday presents because today's her birthday. So I'm going to choose Lori's Garden from the drop down menu, and then I'm going to go pick the tag that's right here. Okay, I think we got the 2-year-old all settled now. So I am going to select the tag right here on Lori's Garden. And so to select it, you can either grab it and drag it and drop it onto your mat, or I think clicking it as well will work. I usually drag and drop now. And I'm going to move it to a spot on my mat where I want it to be. And I know the size that I want the tag to be. Up here you can change the width and the height. So I want it to be a 3 by, and sometimes the height will pop up automatically, and it did. It's 4.903. So I'm just going to leave it there, and you can kind of get a good idea of what the size is going to be like right there. And I'm going to go click on the image. I'll pull the overlay down. You can pull this down here so you don't have that in your way while you're working. I'm going to go click on the image, and it'll bring up a little button here that says Edit Group. So you click on Edit Group, and it brings it to another screen. And I'm going to separate the layers out. So up here there's a Separate. So you click Separate. There's all your different layers, and I'm going to get rid of the Best Wishes. But I do want to keep this one, and instead of keeping the pattern, I'm going to change the pattern on this. Now, if you look here, if I try to change the pattern on this tag, it'll change everything, including that border line, and I want to keep that border line. I think that's pretty. So I'm going to go here, and I'm going to click this tag, and I'm going to go over here to the side to colors and patterns, and I'm going to click on colors and patterns, and I'm going to go select the Lori's Garden. So when you click on colors and patterns, you'll have another little pop-up window so you can actually change using other cartridges, but I'm sticking with Lori's Garden for this tag. And I am going to choose, I think I'm going to choose this pattern for this one, as it has a little bit of yellow in it, and I really like that pattern. And then you go back up to the side here and hit combine. And it'll combine those images, and you'll see I'll lose that best wishes portion that I didn't really want anyhow, and then I hit exit. So now I have my tag, and I'm going to want two of them. So you can either click it and hit copy and paste up here at the top of the screen, or you can hit Control C, Control V. So it works much like other programs you're probably used to, but I'm just going to hit copy and paste, and then I'm going to move the image away a little bit, because I've noticed when I change the pattern sometimes it'll give me a border. It's giving me a pretty border, and not a big black border, so I keep it because it looks nice. So now I have the two tags, and now I need to go to Stretch Your Imagination to get the birdhouse that I would like. So I'm just going to go down here to the bottom and click a tab that says Images, and then I'm going to do the first pull down menu and pull up bookmarks. So bookmarks is every cartridge that I have, I was able to bookmark it in the beginning, so that it makes it easy for me just to scroll through the cartridges that I have. And I'm going to go get Stretch Your Imagination, and as soon as I do that, this window down here will change to Stretch Your Imagination. You have these nice big icons, but I typically like to use the overlay, so I'm going to click Overlay, and I am going to grab the birdhouse that's right here. And I'm going to put that up on my mat. And at the same time, before I change the size or anything, I'm going to go up to the silhouette. Click on the silhouette and then pull up the silhouette of the birdhouse. So right now, they should be the same size. And the reason why they're the same size is there's a button up here that says Relative. You can also make it Real. When you want your layers to match up, you want it to be on Relative initially. And then, in order to change the sizes all at the same time, the simple way to do it is to just click your mouse up at a corner above the image, hold down and drag, and you'll see a blue box select everything. Now that it's all selected, both images here, I can change the size and they change together, just like this. Now I know the sizes I want because I wrote it down, so I am going to go ahead and adjust them like this. For the birdhouse that goes in the center of the tag, I want it to be a 2.361. Now isn't that a strange size? And you can adjust if you're using a Gypsy or something like that instead of Craft Room. So I'm going to make that at a 2.361, and the silhouette portion I'm going to make actually a little bit bigger, and the reason I did this is because you want a place to be able to attach the outline of the birdhouse to, and if you don't make it a little bit bigger you can't. So I'm going to make the silhouette of the birdhouse at a 2.472. And then again, the height should adjust itself if you keep your dimensions connected. And what I mean by keeping your dimensions connected is you can unclick this little section between the width and height, and then they'll change independently of each other. So now I have the two birdhouses, and the first thing I want to do with the one that's going to be placed in the center of my tag is I'm going to click on it, and I'm going to click the button down here that says Hide Contour. I don't need all that stuff in there. And the cool thing about Cricut Craft Room is when you go to Hide Contour, you just move your mouse until something turns red. Once it turns red, you click on it and it goes away. So I'm going to do that for all the inside pieces, just leaving the outline of the birdhouse. And then once I have just the outline, I'm going to hit exit, and there you just have the silhouette of the birdhouse. And then I'm going to take this image and also get rid of the little pedestal, the little like perching thing for the bird. I don't need that. And then hit exit. Now I'm going to want two of the birdhouses, just the outlines, because I have two tags. Both are going to show the birdhouse on the outside, and I'm also going to need two of the little silhouettes. So I'm selecting the birdhouse, hit copy, paste. Now I have two of them. It just happened to put it right over my other image. So I'm going to go select that, move it down there. And now I'm going to put the birdhouse right on the tag. Now one of the things that Cricut Craft Room does is when you put an image on top of another image like this, it'll want to weld it, and it'll automatically say weld, so I need to click don't weld. I click don't weld, and I'm going to do this for the other one as well and put it right in the middle of the tag. Now these don't have to line up. If you're doing a project where they have to line up, you'll need to use multiple layers, but I'm not going to talk about that today. Again, don't weld. And now when this cuts out, it's also going to cut out the birdhouse, which is exactly what I want. I'm also going to need two of these, one for the front and one for the back. So again, I'm going to hit copy and paste. And I want to change the colors of the birdhouses here so they have a nice trim. So in order to do that, I select the house, I go over to the side here, the colors and patterns side, and I'm going to click on this pull down menu and click just colors, because I don't want patterns for this. And I'm going to choose this blue color that is also the outline of this tag for both of these. And so now I have the outline of the birdhouse as well, the little silhouette from Stretch Your Imagination. And I'm arranging things on my mat so that I can use as little paper as possible, because I'm going to use a whole 12 by 12 sheet for this tag. Now the next thing I want to do is go select the bird that I want. And the bird is from Lori's Garden as well, so I'm going to go select Imagine cartridges, then I'm going to pull up Lori's Garden. I choose Lori's Garden, and I want this bird right here. But again, I like to work in the overlay. I don't know why, it's just easier for me. So I'm going to drag and drop the little bird on my page, and I'm going to pull down this menu again so I can see a little better. And I want to change the size of this bird. And the bird I want to be 1.819. And so there he is, and I want to edit the group because I want to change the patterns. I don't want him to be what he is right now. Again, I separate the layers, and then I can change the colors of each. This is a base. I'm not going to change the base. I'm just going to leave that the way it is because it doesn't really matter. And then I'm going to choose the... Okay, sorry about that. I lost my video, so I wanted to load my movies up and then get back on here and start over. So now we have the bird laid out like I did before, and I have the layers separated. Again, you don't have to worry about the base image. That's going to be covered up. I just want to deal with the parts that are going to go on the top. So I'm first going to select the most of the body, and I want to change that to that dark blue color that, you know, is the trim. I'm going to leave the base of his body the same. I like that yellow pattern. It matches the paper. It leaves the legs brown and the beak brown, which is nice because you can distinguish between the legs and the beak. If I flood fill this, you're going to lose that. And then I'm going to change the wing to, well, we can do any color. I did light blue in the first tag. I think I might try a pretty green for this one because it'll match the background paper. And then once I choose the colors and the patterns, I'm going to go hit combine. And see, now you have the nice little image of the bird put together. And then you hit exit. And for the bird, I didn't show you this, but on the screen that I was just on, it said weld, don't weld. Make sure it's welded, because if you hit don't weld, you'll get each of these individual pieces to cut out. So I'm going to move this a little bit closer. So now I have the bird. I'd like to have one on the front and the back. So I'm going to select them and hit copy and paste. And now I have two little birds. And I'm actually going to go ahead and cut out 4. And the reason why is because when this cuts out and this cuts out, you'll have a nice little inside and the shadow of the house. So here are the two pieces that came out before. And I actually think it's cute to do, it'll be cute to make another little birdhouse like this, just to glue them together. And then if you have an extra little bird, you can place a little bird on top of that as well, like this, and just turn this into a tiny little tag that on the back you can put to and from. So I'll keep these pieces, and so I'm going to go ahead and cut out 2 extra birds for that. And again, I'll just hit copy and paste. And then do it again, copy and paste. And so now I have 4 birds, and I want to arrange my mat so that I have some of this 12 by 12 sheet left over, because I'm going to use the rest of it for the accordion that goes in the center that I was mentioning that I learned how to do from Bobby of the Cricut couple, and also from watching Sheila's video tutorial when she did it. I guess I'll just stick him here. That should be fine. So now I want to look and see my whole mat, see where my images are laid out. You go up to zoom. There's a little button up here that says zoom out or zoom in, and I'm going to zoom out so I can see my whole mat. Now I can see my whole mat. I can see all the images laid out. I can see that I'm going to have a nice big piece left over for the accordion, and I'm ready to go on the Imagine. So I've taken my mat, and I've taken my brayer, and I use my brayer to really push down this paper. So anytime you have a real thick cardstock that's going to be cut and printed on your Imagine, you really want to make sure it's stuck down. And so I use my brayer and roll it. Someone else gave me a suggestion of using a credit card to really get it to stick, so I might try that as well. And now I'm going to have to hook up my Imagine to my computer and cut this, and I'll go through that process with you as well.